You're watching The Word on Cars. My name's Nish, and this Ford Ranger Wildtrak is the Ranger to buy for the job site, fun off-road, and to lug your family around in comfort. And I'm about to show you why. Now, before we get started, I'd like to thank Blinker and Essendon Fields for letting me review this Ranger Wildtrak. Blinker has a huge range of pre-owned cars to suit any budget. And if you're looking to sell, take your kind for evaluation and, in most cases, get paid on the same day. So if you're looking for a pre-owned car, looking to sell your car, or want to check out this Ranger Wildtrak, then head down to Blinker and Essendon Fields or visit their website. So, the Ranger started life back in 1983 as a compact pickup in North America. Fast forward to 2011 though, and the Ranger evolved into the mid-sized pickup we know today, which was designed and developed right here in Australia. In 2022, Ford dropped the new Ranger, which you can have in a variety of models, from the bare bones utilitarian XL all the way to the absolutely bonkers Ranger Raptor. And in between, there's this, the Wildtrak, which is where things go from ordinary to special. This one's also sporting the 2-litre 4-cylinder bi-turbo diesel with part-time 4-wheel drive, but you can opt for the 3-litre V6 turbo diesel if you want more grunt and full-time 4-wheel drive. Styling-wise, the Ranger looks as tough as it is under the skin. Built on a proper ladder frame, this thing is capable on and off-road. It definitely looks the part. The Wildtrak gets a unique grille up front with Ford's signature C-clamp headlamps with daytime running lights. Matrix LED headlamps are an option for the Wildtrak. Recovery hooks integrated into the front bumper bar, 18-inch wheels on all 4 corners, finished in boulder grey and wrapped in all-terrain tyres, side steps that run the full length to make getting in and out easier. This thing's quite tall with 234mm of ground clearance, integrated side steps on either side to step up and reach into the tray, and equally tough rear end with blacked out badging, tail lamps with daytime running lights, and a bumper that's well integrated into the back end. All in all, it's a good looking pickup. Cargo space back here is plenty. The Wildtrak in this configuration with the 4-pot turbo diesel has a payload of 950 kilograms and is wide and long enough for a standard Aussie pallet. It's also deep enough with the electric roller cover closed for plenty of luggage or camping gear, although the mechanism does rob a little space at the front of the tray. The tray also gets a drop-in bed liner, which isn't as durable as a spray-in bed liner you get in the Raptor, but it does the job. Aluminium tie-down rails on either side, inner tie-downs along with a cargo management system. You get movable cleats that have a load rating of 250 kilograms, LED lighting, a 12-volt power outlet, and a spot to mount C-clamps and cup holders in the tailgate, which gets lift assistance to make closing it easier, but isn't damped in the Wildtrak, so it'll hit the deck if you let go. The Wildtrak also gets roof rails. You can option the flexible rack system, which throws in folding roof racks and a sliding load rack for carrying longer items. And if you need to tow, this thing can haul a 750 kilogram unbrake trailer or a 3,500 kilogram brake trailer. All Ranger variants get a tow bar with an integrated trailer brake controller, as well as a function to check trailer lights and an integrated towing checklist as standard. Now, getting in is as simple as anything else. Grab the front handle, this unlocks the doors, and you're good to go. And to lock up, touch the indent on the handle. To get out of the Ranger, pull the hidden latch in the door handle. You can also use a key fob to get in and out, open and close the electric tray cover, and open and close the windows. There's also plenty of space to get in and out through the front doors and the back doors. Stepping into the interior, the Ranger Wildtrak retains the brawniness on the inside while bringing in style and comfort. There's soft touch surfaces right around with cyber orange stitching that looks oh so good. And I gotta call out these air vents that replicate the front grille, looks tough. In terms of comfort, the front seats can be electrically adjusted. No memory presets in this variant though. Are partially covered in leather with Wildtrak embossed in orange on the seat back. They're comfortable, and for everyday use there's plenty of headroom and legroom, even for the taller. Tech-wise, there's this very obvious 12-inch touchscreen which Ford calls the coast-to-coast instrument panel. Lower models get a 10.1-inch version, which gets Ford's Sync 4A interface, which is brilliant. It's responsive, configurable, gives you access to everything you need, including wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Some climate control functions do need to be accessed through the infotainment screen, like the heated seats, but you do get a dedicated row of physical buttons for the more frequently used functions. The buttons and dials are nice and chunky and easy to use with gloves if you're on the job. This Wildtrak's also rocking the standard 6-speaker stereo, which sounds fine, but you can option a 10-speaker B&O system for the audiophiles out there. Then there's the 8-inch instrument cluster. The Platinum and Raptor models get a 12.4-inch screen. Still, you get plenty of information through this 8-inch screen, which is also quite configurable and controlled using the buttons on the steering wheel. Safety tech-wise, all Rangers come standard with adaptive cruise control with stop and go, including intelligent speed assist, which will adapt the speed to the speed limit using traffic sign recognition, active lane keeping and blind spot monitoring with cross-traffic alert including trailer coverage, emergency braking both front and rear, as well as parking sensors all around. On the center console, we have the E-shifter, which isn't as intuitive as a conventional shifter, even though it works the same way. But in a world where every manufacturer is looking for new ways to do it, it works. To select gears, press the trigger at the front and pull the lever back from park through reverse, neutral and drive. In reverse, you get a comprehensive surround view camera with multiple views including a trailer hitch. On the side, Ford has included buttons to change gears manually or to use progressive range select, which allows you to transform the 10-speed automatic into either 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 speeds, which is handy for off-roading or pulling a trailer. Along with the gear lever, there's a rotary dial for drive modes, normal, eco, tow, slippery, mud ruts, and sand. Thankfully, there's no unnecessary sport mode in here, which other manufacturers just seem to throw in for good measure, because it's not meant to be sporty. The drive mode selector also incorporates the 4-wheel drive modes. You can choose from 2 high for normal driving, which sends power to the rear wheels, and 4 low and 4 high, depending on the off-road conditions. Aside from these, you'll also find the electronic parking brake, buttons for automatic parking, traction control, the blank is for automatic start-stop for models equipped with it, and a button to access the off-road screen, which shows driveline settings, steering angle, vehicle pitch and roll angles, as well as forward and rear camera views with guidelines for off-roading. You can also lock the rear differential and activate hill descent control from this screen. And there's also external zone lighting that can be turned on right around the Ranger to light up the perimeter so you can keep playing or working into the night. Storage-wise, there's a decent-sized glove box and a separate storage compartment above this, a substantial storage bin under the armrest with a 12-volt power outlet, 2 cup holders on the center console, a slot to hold your fries, no joke, in front of which there's a wireless phone charger, a storage space next to this, and USB-A and USB-C ports. There's also more cup holders hidden in the dash that pop out with a push, bins in the doors with bottle holders, and a sunglass holder for your shades. Then we have the back seats in the Ranger, which get pretty much the same treatment as the front. Soft touch surfaces, except for the tops of the doors, which are plastic, partial leather trimming, orange stitching. It's a nice place to be. Space-wise, there's plenty of headroom and decent knee room with the seat set to my 5'9" driving position, but 3 adults will drop shoulders back here. It's not all that wide. There's also a draft shaft hump, but it's low and wide so smaller feet will fit. The seats are comfortable, but as is with most dual cab pickups, a little more on the upright side. Still, they're comfortable. For the young families, there's top tether mounts behind the seat and ISOFIX points for the outboard seats. Amenities-wise, there's vents for heating and cooling back here with the USB-A and USB-C ports, map pockets behind the front seats, cup holders in the fold-down armrest, and storage bins in the doors with bottle holders. If you need even more space, there's hidden bins under the bench seat. If that's not enough, you can drop the seat back down for a flat carpeted surface for even more space. So, driving the Ford Ranger Wildtrak. Now I gotta say, I'm properly impressed with how this car gets down the road. At the end of the day, it is a mid-sized pickup truck, but it still manages the road really well. It's a comfortable ride. The suspension in this thing is set up brilliantly for Australian conditions. It'll absorb bumps, undulations, potholes, whatever you throw at it with ease. And the one thing I will say though is there is a little bit of tire noise that comes through from the all-terrain tires. It's not obtrusive. You do hear a little bit of it. It's marginal. It doesn't really take away from the overall comfort in this car. You feel quite insulated in here. You don't hear any creaks or rattles or anything like that. It is a really well put together car. I think Ford's done brilliantly in the way they've designed this thing. In terms of performance, I mentioned earlier that this has a 2-litre turbo diesel 4-cylinder under the hood. And it's quite capable. It doesn't have a hell of a lot of power. It's 154 kilowatts, and when you consider this thing weighs over 2,300 kilograms, that's not a lot of power. But it has 500 Newton meters of torque, so it's perfectly capable of getting you out of sticky situations when you need it to. Put your foot into it and it'll move. Now, it's not a sports car, like I said. We don't even have a sport mode in here, as I mentioned earlier. I think Ford knows exactly what this car is. So 0 to 100 is around 9.6 seconds. You're not going to win any races. And again, the intention of this car isn't for that. It is capable off-road, it is comfortable to take your family around, and it works every day as a work car. And I think it does that brilliantly. This engine is perfectly fine for that. Gives you enough grunt, gives you enough pep when you need it. You can stick it into manual mode and road through gears if you want to change gears yourself, but leaving this thing in automatic, it works brilliantly. And then that takes us to the transmission in this car, the 10-speed auto. The gearbox is seamless. To be honest, it is difficult to tell when this car is changing gears, which is a good thing. You can, as I said, put it into manual, do everything yourself, but again, you don't need to. Leaving this thing in automatic, it does everything for you. You've got the option of selecting the number of gears, the range of gears that you want, depending on whether you're towing or whether you're going off-road, which is handy in a car like this. So transmission works well. Steering-wise, the Wildtrak performs really well. There is a little bit of vagueness, but you expect that in a car that's so tall and so large, but it manages itself really well. You don't feel uncomfortable or like you're not in control going around corners in this thing. It feels quite planted and it feels like you're in control, which is what matters. Now, it is electrically assisted, so you do feel that coming through the steering wheel. At low speeds, it is highly assisted and very light, but as you speed up, it does start to stiffen up a little bit. This doesn't get any drive modes you can select to stiffen up the steering, but it doesn't necessarily need it. It does everything for you. It works perfectly fine. From a braking perspective, Ford's also done really well with the brakes in this car. They work really well. The pedal feels there. When you need it to stop, it comes to a grinding halt, and it really manages that 2,300 kilograms really well. Then we have all the safety systems that the Ranger gets. And I think it's really impressive that Ford's been able to throw everything into every Ranger in the Ranger lineup. Now, this has, as I said, adaptive cruise control, lane centering. It'll even read the speed signs for you and adapt your speed to that automatically. And everything works beautifully. The stop and go will bring you to a full stop, and it will start moving when the traffic starts moving in front of you. Everything works. It's perfect. What more can I say? So, overall, the Ranger Wildtrak is a fantastic bit of kit. Ford's done a really good job of pulling all the technology, features, creature comforts into this car to take it away from the utilitarian models in the Ranger lineup and make this more suitable for work, for family, and for off-roading. It is capable in so many ways, and I think that makes this thing brilliant. Now, many people may not know that the Volkswagen Amarok is actually based on the Ranger. Aside from the way it looks on the outside and the inside, it is pretty much Ranger. Pricing-wise, the Amarok is around 69,500 Australian dollars drive away, while the Ranger is 75,500 Australian dollars drive away. And there's a reason for that price differential. The demand for the Ranger is what's driving those prices. Now, on the second-hand market, the prices are still holding strong. This particular car, as I mentioned, is for sale at Blinker in Essendon, and it's priced at a shade under 67,000 Australian dollars, which, in comparison to what's out there on the second-hand market, is a pretty good deal for what is essentially a brand new car with 35,000 kilometers on the clock. So whether you look at this car brand new or whether you look at it on the second-hand market, at the end of the day, the Ranger Wildtrak is a brilliant pickup truck. So have a look, because you won't be disappointed.